Hey, good evening. Welcome everybody to our final school board, Barrow County School Board meeting for fiscal year 2022. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. We're going to start tonight's meeting. Mr. Vince Kane has the invocation, and we're going to start with the colors presented by the Winder Barrow Junior ROTC. Please stand.
Colors, attention, carry, colors, forward, march. Forward, march. March on, march. Colors, oh. Post the colors.
I pledge allegiance.
Present, arms.
I pledge allegiance
To
to
the
the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. March on, march. Forward, march. March on, march. Colors, oh.
I'm Cadet Corporal Landon Myers from Winder Barrow.
Good evening, I'm Cadet Command Sergeant Major, Commander Gutierrez, Winder Barrow High School.
Good evening, I'm Cadet First Sergeant Chance Barr from Winder Barrow High School.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Second Lieutenant Derek Smith from Winder Barrow High School.
March on, march. Forward, march.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we undertake this very important business of educating and protecting those we hold most precious. Guide us in meaningful discussion and allow us to work together for the greater good of our community. Continue to remind us that all we do tonight, all we aspire to do tonight, is for your glory and the service of those who have entrusted us. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we're going to start with approving the minutes from the work session and call board meeting on October 25th. If I could get a motion to approve,
So moved. Second.
all in favor? Okay, next, our board meeting on November 1st, a motion to approve meeting minutes.
So moved.
All in favor? And finally, the called board meeting from November 7th, a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Okay. And I'd like a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Clean School Committee. I was unable to attend, but Ms. Bramlett, you're going to present the report on the Clean School.
Yes, so as you guys know, we now do clean and safe schools. And I love that so much because just as Mr. Kane said in his prayer, these are those that we hold the most precious in our community, our children. And so keeping them safe is obviously our most sacred priority. So going into these schools and making sure that they are clean and safe is something that we as the Board of Education take great pride in. And, when we find one that's not clean and safe, we'll let you know. So far, that has not happened. Thank goodness. it's really hard when we go into these schools because our administration, our teachers and our custodians all do a great job and they take their job so seriously. From finding doors locked, walking through the hallways, just touching the teachers' doors to make sure that if we were walking through the hallways, we would not be able to get to their students, and we cannot. And then, of course, checking bathrooms. Nothing quite like a board member walking into a bathroom and a student being there. They're looking at you like you got 3 heads. But we check everything while we're there. This month, we went to Auburn Elementary, Kennedy Elementary, and Westside Middle School. All 3 were impeccably clean. I do not know how Westside Middle School is that clean. I have teenagers and I can't keep one bathroom that clean, sir. So kudos to you. However, we decided the winner for this month would be Kennedy Elementary School. The Christmas lights did us in, I'm just gonna tell you. If you haven't been to Kennedy Elementary and seen the decor, it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you guys so much for allowing us to come in. We appreciate it. And thank you all so very much for keeping our students so safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Bramlett. Next, we're going to recognize some folks in the audience, and we did. Dr. McMichael. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, let me start out with a special recognition, and it's kind of bittersweet, but one of our board members, this will be his last meeting, Mr. Kenny Lumpkin, and Kenny stepped in a couple years ago when Ms. Debbie Kraus decided to run for office in Statham. So we interviewed some candidates, and Mr. Lumpkin stood out. His professionalism, his demeanor, his passion for the schools was very obvious. And over the year and a half that he's joined us, he's proven that. And he's really, I hope, Kenny, that you continue to mentor children and be involved, because your professionalism and your as I said, your passion really is outstanding. So,
Thank you.
if we could all just give Kenny a round of applause.
I feel very fortunate today. My daughter was selected by the chamber or the school system for the December Student of the Month. So this is like Lumpkin Day. Right? She got a plaque and I got one too. So thank y'all very much. Thank you.
And I just want to add on to that. Thank you so much for your time and effort. And you may not remember this, but when I first came to Barrow, you were one of the first community people I actually met when I came here, and that's always stuck with me. So it's been an honor to have you on the board and to serve with you, with working with the kids and the teachers.
Thank you. I'll continue to be an advocate for
you
the
will
school
definitely we'll be pulling on your expertise and passion,
Absolutely.
as we have in the past, as
Yes,
we go
sir.
forward also. So
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks, Kenny.
All right.
Okay.
Go with custodial awards, I believe.
Good evening. We're pleased to announce our custodians of the week. And as we've done here these first few months of the school year, we say a few words, or we get some nice comments from the schools, and I'd take a few moments to read those. So I'd like to do that. And so I'll call you up here one at a time. And first of all, Ms. Tina Sorrell. Tina cleans up. Tina cleans our building here at the PDC, and she just does a terrific job. There are 2 pages of notes here, and I'm just going to read a couple of those. But there are just so many glowing remarks here. Tina is always here at the PDC before I get in early. Lights on, flag hung, floors clean, bathrooms clean, windows, doors clean and sanitized. She never stops cleaning. She greets folks, talks with them, and at the same time, she's cleaning nonstop. Our building always looks great because of Tina. Tina's smile greets me every morning as she makes her way around our building. Her excellent attention to detail ensures that our building is immaculate for our guests and employees. Her hard work helps to keep us healthy and productive at the PDC. I'm so thankful that she's a part of our team. And Tina also cleans several other buildings around the system, maintenance, transportation, the teacher resource center there. So she makes her way around the county and she makes us look really good. You know, this is really the public face of our school system. And I get a lot of comments from people when they come in here about the condition of this building and how good it looks. So a big part of that is due to Tina. Okay, Mr. Felix Borgia, Bear Creek Middle School. All right, and the school shared these thoughts about Felix. We're grateful to have Felix on our custodial staff. During his time at Bear Creek, he's proven to be steady and reliable. We know that we can count on him to be punctual, visible, and constantly striving to provide clean and safe facilities for the faculty, staff, and students at Bear Creek. The administration has often complimented Felix when meeting with custodial supervisors, and we're thrilled to see him get the recognition he deserves. We're truly thankful for the dedication and commitment Felix has shown, and we're proud to have him as a member of the Bear Creek family. Thank you. All right. Miss Laura Perez, Statham Elementary School. Okay, Statham Elementary School says about Miss Laura here. Miss Laura is truly a gem to Statham Elementary. She works very hard to ensure that the building is clean throughout the day and does it all with her infectious smile. She participates in all of our dress-up days, builds relationships with students, and has a positive rapport with staff. She takes pride in how Statham looks and always strives to make sure that our building is well represented, especially when visitors are in the building. She's a sweet soul, and we are blessed to have her at Statham. Okay. Put Dr. Michael to work tonight. Yeah. All right, and then finally, Mrs. Maria Gonzalez, Yargo Elementary School. Maria has worked at Yargo for many years. She's faithful and dedicated to the children and staff, and she works diligently to make sure the building is ready each and every morning when everyone arrives. One thing we love about Maria is that she keeps us informed. If there's a concern or if there's something not quite right, she'll make sure that she has notified the principal or other people. She goes out of her way to make sure the building is just right for all who work and learn in it. The after-school director sees Maria in action each day. She said, when I see Maria every afternoon, she always seems so happy with a positive attitude and a smile. She's always willing to help with any mishaps that may happen in after school while still managing to make Yargo shine. Yargo is very fortunate to have Maria as part of the team. Thank you all. We appreciate what you do for us every day. These folks show up every day. They work hard with a smile on their face, and they just go that extra mile to make everybody feel good and happy about being in the school. So thank you very much. And we'll take some photos outside there if you on your way out.
Thank you so much for all your efforts.
I call Miss Ellen Petrie up. We've got a couple of great areas of awards that fall under Partners in Ed tonight.
Always helpful.
I'm so excited to join Dr. McMichael. Having the holiday card contest and our students with their incredible artwork and their messages that they create is just a highlight every year. And Dr. McMichael, as a former art teacher, this is one of his favorite recognitions. We are going to recognize first Skylar Chapman. She's a 6th grade student at the Arts and Innovation Magnet Program. And Skylar did our outside cover and it was in watercolor. It was absolutely beautiful. I'd like for her teacher, Miss Laura Payne, to stand, as well as her principal, Mr. Holman. And Dr. McMichael has Christmas cards for the two of you. In Skylar's gift, she has some Christmas cards or holiday cards that she can use for family. And then there's another special treat in there too. Okay. I'd love for her family to stand as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. The next student we want to recognize is Loki Chambarillo. He is a 5th grade student at Bethlehem Elementary School, and Loki did our inside message, and you'll see that on the screen. Please come forward. His teachers are April Reed, and he's a homeroom teacher, and Stephanie Wood is his art teacher. Would love for them to stand, please, as well as family members for Loki. And Dr. McMichael has cards for Miss Reed, the principal, as well as Miss Wood and Miss Mindy Reed and Miss April Reed. And we are mailing some hard copies tomorrow. So those are hot off the press. And then we'll be sending these out in email greetings. Okay. Our next presentation is something that we look forward to or have looked forward to for 4 years. I'd like for Todd Faulkner of Zaxby's to join me up here. This is the 4th year of the Zaxby's Urgency to Serve grants for Barrow County School System educators. These grants are unique to Barrow County and are part of our district-wide partnership. And Todd was instrumental in creating these because of their strong commitment to Barrow County's children. This year we have 18 Zaxby's Urgency to Serve classroom grants, and these will be implemented by 20 teachers and in 12 schools, and the grants will impact over 5,400 students. That's in this year alone. Many of the grants will be used year after year. So there's a real ripple effect with these grants. An essential component of each one of the grants is how the teachers outline in their grant proposal how they plan to incorporate the theme of urgency to serve others. That's very important at Zaxby's, and this carries over into their grants. Zaxby's recognizes that we have in our classrooms today the leaders for tomorrow, and they want to have an impact on that. We thank Zaxby's for their very generous community reinvestment in our schools, teachers, and students. And we're grateful for this year's grants, which total $8,640. I'd like to introduce Todd and let him say a few words, and then we'll do the presentation.
Thank you, Ellen. Good evening, everyone. I'll be short, brief. Been in the county with Zaxby's for 24 years. In fact, Mr. Lumpkin helped us get our first loan back in the day. We appreciate the county, the city, and the school system. Everybody's been very, very good to us, and we're blessed to be able to share our good fortune with the school system worked with, or didn't work, did principal today with Dr. Smith maybe 3 years ago and just kind of was very enlightened by what you guys do day in and day out. I serve on the governance team with Dr. Bowen. Again, amazing. And my good friend here, Ellen, I've known Ellen for a while. Just epitomizes the school system, in my opinion. We're grateful. Thank y'all.
Okay, I'm going to call the teacher's name and if they'll come forward, and while they are coming forward, if any of their family members would like to stand, we'd like to recognize you too. Our first teacher is from Appalachia High School. You got you? All right, you're ready. Our first teacher from Appalachia is Brooke Lewis Slomkova, and the name of her grant was School Garden Updates. Our second one we want to recognize is Ashley Bailey from the Arts and Innovation Magnet Program. And her grant is Kid Tested, Teacher Approved Professional Learning Series Part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'd like to recognize Caroline Bucky Beaver from the Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. And her grant was Creating Through Computer Science. Charlene Fletcher is also from the Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy, and her grant title was BASA Trailblazers.
All right.
There are two grantees from BASA that weren't able to join us tonight. Mr. Paul Thornton for Common Ground Concert Series and Dr. Anlock Ridgway for Breaking Out of the Norm. I'd like to give them a hand. Okay, our next grant was co-written by Dr. Susie Wallen and Robert Worsing from Bear Creek Middle School. And it's titled Spike Ball Mania and Shark Tank Innovation. Our next recipient is Amanda Durant from Holzenbeck Elementary, Enhancing the Arts Through Material Exploration. Our next grant is Laura Stansel from Kennedy Elementary School, What's in the Night Sky? And she is so excited about this. We've emailed about it. Can I tell you?
Yes, ma'am.
She says, I'm a space nerd.
I got to go to NASA and watch us launch as a social visitor in October. So that was nice.
Our next recipient is Rebecca Good from Russell Middle School, and her grant title was Slabs for Students. She's an art teacher. Our next recipient is Amanda Tavies from Statham Elementary School, and her grant title is Sensational Sensory Room. Our next recipient is Annabelle Snyder from Sims Academy, Newcomers Day of Service.
All right.
Also from Sims Academy, Miss Amy Wilson, Newcomer Academy book bags. Our next recipient is Ansley Jones from Wanderbarrow Wanderbarrow High School, School-Wide Positive Behavior Intervention System Improvement. That's a lot. Our next recipient is Hannah Alexander from Westside Middle School, fitness unit. Our next recipient is Kelly Cravey, and she wasn't able to be with us tonight. She's from Yargo Elementary School, and her grant title was Students Bring Reading to Life with Readers Theater. The next two recipients are co-writers of this grant at Yargo Elementary School, Christy Towers and Sandra Crane. Suitcase for Sounds. And our last recipient, Bailey Hotchgirdle, Yargo Elementary School, Growing Learners Through Great Books.
All right. I just want to say, first of all, thank you all for what you do every day. It's great to see you all get some recognition like this. Todd, what you and Zaxby's do for us is there's a lot of things that go on that aren't even recognized. I know you all do, and that's wonderful. But giving these teachers this recognition, as we all know that teachers so many times go unrecognized for the great work they do. So it's great to have this, and we really appreciate you all, and same level, really appreciate all of you all for sticking with it and doing what you do so well every day for our kids. And it's wonderful to see you all here smiling and getting your awards, because the word excellence on that doesn't begin to describe each one of you. So thank you so much.
If we had snacks, they'd come back.
We'll miss the spaghetti then.
Zaxby's chicken fingers. All right. Let's move on with a few of us that are left.
Fun stuff.
You know how to clean out a room.
Yeah. We don't have any visitors to appear before us tonight, but we actually do have one request to appear before the board. The folks are Mr. and Mrs. Durrett, William and Brenda Durrett, and they've opted not to come speak, but they've asked us to read their letter. So I'm going to read this. This is to the board from the Durretts. Subject: senior exemption for school tax, granted full exemption in line of current partial exemption. Now, there might be, bear with me, I'm going to read it exactly as it's written. Said citizens of Barrow County, William Durrett, Brenda Durrett, request that senior citizens should be exempt fully from school taxes instead of Barrow County only giving partial exemptions. We have no children in schools, nor did they attend school in Barrow County. Since inflation is over 8%, has caused everything, especially groceries and gas prices, to skyrocket. This fact makes it difficult for everyone, especially senior citizens on a fixed income. Many senior citizens spend money on needed revenue for Barrow County in general, even with hardships now imposed by inflation. It's our understanding that many other counties, i.e. Gwinnett, Fayette, Henry counties in Georgia, offer full exemptions, and seniors become eligible based on age. We are 77 and 75 years old. We will use our right to vote for school board members who support this request for full exemption from seniors from school taxes during the next election. The tax assessor's office informed us they have made this request many times without success. They said it was up to the voters to either attend December 5th meeting in person or written statements will be received at that time. Many voters are agreeing with this fair request. Sincerely, William and Brenda Durrett.
I'd like to take just a second, this on the last part. I've been a little confused with the tax assessors piece and just wanted to point out a few things. As we discussed before, and we have a study being held right now that's going on. It's the, Jennifer, remind me, it's the Carl Vinson Institute out of Athens is actually doing the study as an impartial group to look at all the different permeations of moving in that direction and doing some more, either a full cut or enhancing what we already have. But we have to be physically responsible and make sure our kids are and teachers are taken care of. So we need to know, what that would do for our bottom line and the budget for the school system. So we've got that in place. I'm not sure the information that they may have received from the tax assessor is quite correct. So I just want to take a second to correct that for the record also. The process to do so requires it to go to first be brought to the legislature has to be a part of that. The voters have to be a part of that. It's not something the board can just one night at a board meeting sign a paper and do. And I think there's some misconception of that on some of our citizens' parts and on apparently maybe some of the workers at the tax assessor's office. So we're going to reach out to them and see if we can't get some clarification on that piece. But I don't think there's anyone up here that would not, in a perfect world, love to make those exemptions possible, because we all know how it is. We all have family members, I'm sure, that do live on a fixed income, if we're not one of them. So but we do have to check all the boxes and go through. It's a process, and it's not something that can happen overnight. It's got to go to a referendum. The voters have to vote for it, and then the local legislation has to be taken down during the legislative session under the Gold Dome in January of whatever year that comes through. And so it is a process. It's not just something we can the board can snap their fingers and get done. So just in case anyone needed some clarification, just wanted to throw that out there. Jennifer, have I missed anything on that? Or okay,
Well, I can speak for the board. We did approve the study to be
correct.
commenced, and we were in favor of that. So we understand the situation, Mr. and Mrs. Durrett, and
Unanimously in favor.
Unanimously in favor, and and again, going back to why I think we're seeing a bit more rise in people talking about this is property values have gone up, and the Board of Education has nothing to do with that piece of it. And that's really the underlying piece that's kind of brought this back to the forefront again at this point. So.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. This is about the 5th time I have heard from folks who say that the tax assessor's office has tried to get us to do this and has come before the board with that.
Correct.
I've been on this board for 26 years, and that's just not true. And I want to know where that's coming from, and it needs to be corrected.
We've already made plans to reach out
Okay.
and have discussions on that. So.
That was the same thing I was hearing, because I've not ever seen you come before us. And in fact, this very thing was spoke about in the financial meeting that I was in down in Atlanta last week with school districts that actually have gone and given the exemption, but in lieu of the stuff, they're going back and re-looking at their
Well,
policies.
that's a very good
as
point.
well.
I've spoken with several other superintendents and other districts about this. And honestly, a lot of the ones that are doing it now are looking at going back and lessening it.
Certainly don't want to have to do that.
Because of times. I mean, inflation hits everyone, but it also hits the school system. So it's
So we don't want to be in a situation where we do it and have to go.
correct. I think it's worth to do it and then take it back in a couple of years. So we want to
We
be
need to
very
make
sure before we move forward that we have all the data and information that we can have to make the best decision.
The study's the best way to do that.
Mhm, correct.
Okay.
Really has never done this study before, I'm sorry.
No,
of
yeah.
course. Province has never been asked to do a study like this, and I went to ACPG, went to all different,
different organizations and none of them have been asked to do a day like this. So I think the decision has always been made without this kind of financial information. And I just couldn't put y'all through that and go into the decision line.
Well, I think it's not what we gotta think about, that I had not thought about that was brought up at that meeting. That's happened in some of these other districts that have given a carte blanche across, the thing is they were just thinking about their citizens that were already there, but when they do it, and I think this has happened in Hall County, then you have a tremendous amount of people move in only for that reason only, to get a break. And then it really hurts the school district. So that's why they're having to go back and really look at it. So I think none of us here, we want to do what's right by our citizens that are here and stuff. But what if we have a tremendous amount of people move in because neighboring counties are not doing that? We don't want to hurt the people that are here and our kids that we do have to educate.
And you also, Hall, you brought Hall up. I remember watching one of their meetings where they discussed this and had projected some things out. They didn't use Carl Vinson, but they projected out that if they don't do something along those lines, a lot of their property is lake property, et cetera, that they're not gonna have enough money in the future, next decade or so, to keep running the system at the same level that they are now, with the growth they're having and the people moving in, the demographics of the people moving in for the tax break. So there's just a lot of moving pieces that go into these decisions before we can just pull the trigger and move forward with doing that. And even then, it's a process that's going to take probably at least a year, I would say, before we get decided to go down that road. So,
Well, thank you, because we obviously always want to do right by our constituents.
Absolutely.
But, you guys are always so good at,
we want
thinking
to make sure we have all the
and doing the
facts.
responsible things and making sure we have these things. And like you said, you couldn't do that to us. We appreciate you as always.
And again, I'm very sympathetic. I think we all are with the folks that are having a struggle due to it right now. But that's just
Like you said, in a perfect world.
it's a part of growth and a part of inflation. And I mean, there are a lot of pieces that are causing that emphasis. And yeah, it's easy for someone in another office to say, don't talk to me about it, go over there. It's their fault. And I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but we need to find out if it is.
And I think, as long as we're being honest and transparent with them, because I know when I was knocking on doors and talking to the elderly citizens, and that brought up before we even decided with set our millage, I was very transparent with them. It didn't commit to something that I knew I couldn't commit to, because we're it's a 9-member board, but at the same time, I told them, I said, we're gonna have to look at our numbers. Would I be in favor of obviously doing that? Obviously, yes. But we've got to look at our numbers, and at the end of the day, we've got to do what's right by our students. We've got to educate our students. So we have a tax base that's now contributing.
And
to
looking
the
back
rest of us in the
back
future.
at the past, when the decision was made for what we have now, which again, as a reminder, it starts at 62, which is much earlier than most, but it is based on income. And that was wisely done when it was done years ago, I think. And, it definitely is probably time, or maybe even past time, to look at it and make tweaks and decisions at this point. But I think that was a wise piece to base it on the income, on the scale, and the scale may need to be tweaked too. So again, those are things that I anticipate we'll get out of the report when we get it. So
I'm grateful these
Okay.
people wrote the letter, because it sounded like there were some good points of clarification there that needed to be made.
yeah, I'm glad they brought it up.
Okay, let's move on to the superintendent department reports. Dr. Green. Okay, Ms. Houston.
Good evening. I'm going to give y'all the SPLOST receipts again for this month, November's $1,759,057.94, and that is a record. So we are very appreciative of the Barrow County citizens and any citizens that come in from other counties and shop with us. It really helps us to build our schools, transportation, technology, all of that we use these SPLOST funds for. All right. The next is our general fund board, the board summary for the general fund. Our total fund balance at 111. What month is that? November 30th, 2022 is $77,929,386. This number is really big because we've had a lot of school taxes come in. So we will deplete this, not deplete it, but it will go down throughout the next few years. or few months. Total revenues year to date, November 30th, 78.7 million. Total expenditures year to date, 62.9 million. Our month to date revenues, 37.6 and 12.4 million for our month to date expenditures. We're at 42% of the year. And as we like to see, we finally got our revenues above that line and our expenditures below that line. The next is just the detail, and you'll see that we have brought in 62.8% of our tax revenue this year so far. We'll move on to our other funds, our special revenue fund. Our year-to-date revenues are 8.3 million and our year-to-date expenditures 8.3 million. This is how it's supposed to work. Kind of we're getting our reimbursements now from our expenditures that we've our federal funds expenditures. Our enterprise fund, we haven't funded this yet. This is our fines that the school fines for driving for speed fines. The next one is capital projects. Again, this is October, so we're running a month behind with these. So our year-to-date revenues, 11.2 million, and our year-to-date expenditures, 19.3 million. And then our last one is debt service. Our year-to-date revenues, 8.5 million, and our year-to-date expenditures, 6.7 million. Any questions?
Jennifer, do we know what the status of the fine funds is? I mean, have we had any conversation on that?
Mr. McNamara has something. He talks to Judd quite often. Maybe he has an update.
Okay. Correct.
So we're still in the play of how that could be.
Okay.
Jennifer, I have one question. You said, if I heard you correctly, we've collected 62% of the taxes. Is that normal for this time of year? Because I know they were due in November.
Yes, but it takes a little while for them to process, maybe a couple of weeks. So we're really seeing a lot coming in December. So this was as of November 30th.
Right.
So we've seen more come in. And so we should probably be up to like 75, 80% by the end of December.
Okay.
Because there's other taxes in that too. Intangible tax and transfer taxes that we get throughout the year. So that number has a couple other taxes in it also, but I can give you just in my January meeting, I'll give you just the ad valorem taxes and where we are at that point.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah.
And the number struck me as being low, and I realized it was just through November, but I would have thought that all of the houses that have escrows would have been paid by that time. So, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be where we need to be when we need to be there.
That's right.
And I want to just take a minute because this part of that you give us every month, when I was down there in Atlanta, the financial thing, and when they had another board member that's now retired that was telling us it's with the State Department of Education, what you're giving us and what he tells us we should look at every month and then what we should look at every quarter and stuff and delve in. I was so proud because you're giving it to us all the time. And as a board, we don't have to look in. So I was smiling the whole time, so thankful that we have you because we know exactly where our money is, what our revenues are, and we don't have to question it or go dig and look for it.
I appreciate that, but my predecessors, they kind of set this up and I kind of moved it from them. So yeah.
But I mean, it's very,
but thank you.
We can look at it. We know what it is. And when they were bringing, that's why texting you and told you I think you could have taught that class. I mean, it was so great what you give to us. It really is.
Even the pieces that you inherited, you have
really
simplified and made it much more accessible.
Yeah, so we're very grateful.
That's enough. Thank you.
See what color you want.
In your spare time, you can go down to the GSBA convention and do a class.
Well, I will say, I think I've told you all, but the presentation that Jennifer gave to the representatives and others last month got some press on. There's a weekly call of a group of superintendents that have been selected from each RESA directors and the state people, sometimes the governors on that. It got a lot of good press, that presentation during that call, which led to our RESA asking me to come in and present, which they got the cut rate version of the presentation by getting it from me, but, so a lot of good kudos from the 13, other superintendents. And Jennifer pulled a lot of that together
She's not
too.
welcome
So,
to leave.
it's, again, that, I think a lot of that information was things that, knew, but the superintendents I spoke with said, we've never thought about bringing it all together in one spot like she does.
She does. Okay,
So, well
you
done.
have to monitor her calls. She cannot take any calls from any other superintendent.
That's right.
I already have that in writing.
Mr.
That's on
Perno,
video now.
you got anything for us?
Joe got a lot of bragging on at the conference too.
He
From
did
from some of the leaders we talked to, or some of the,
And so did,
I still
Contracting
sure
program.
pretty because of you, Joe.
so did Kendall. We heard a lot of positive things about Kendall.
so we are
Dr. Moten.
hitting on all cylinders.
When I, well, how are we supposed to brag on you if you say no additional information? We're
Bragging on-
all here.
We'll be bragging on some of hers in January.
You're just gorgeous, man.
Ms. Beggs? Okay, we'll talk to you in a little while.
We have to brag on you behind.
And
closed
Dr.
doors.
Thompson is not here. I don't believe he has anything on
No, he
strategic
does not.
projects. Okay, we're gonna move on to some old business. First of all, we'll need a motion to approve the board to call for the special election East Blast. Superintendent recommends approval of the East Blast 6 resolution and call for election on March 21st, 2023.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Bramlett, Ms. Stevens, all in favor? Okay. Next, Bassett 2 guaranteed maximum price. The superintendent recommends a guaranteed maximum price of $22,257,487 for the classroom addition at Bassett and improvements to Bassett 1. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Okay. And finally, guaranteed maximum price for renovations to Bethlehem County Line and Winder Elementary Schools. Superintendent recommends a guaranteed maximum price of $11,134,320 for renovation of Bethlehem County Line and Winder Elementary Schools.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Kelly, Ms. Stevens, all in favor? Okay. Let's move on to the consent agenda for tonight. Dell servers for schools. Superintendent recommended authorizing the purchase of Dell servers from low bid respondent Dell of Round Rock, Texas, in the amount of $30,675.40. We've got E-rate funded wide area network. The superintendent recommended awarding the contract for wide area network to services to low bid respondent Comcast in the amount of $123,569.88 per year, and authorizing the option to renew up to 5 years for a total of $617,849.40 over the 5-year period. We have Aruba Network switches. The superintendent recommended authorizing the purchase of Aruba Network switches from low bid respondent MXN of Woodstock, Georgia, in the amount of $246,968.
It's been a long day.
$246,968. Memorandum of agreement between the Social Empowerment Center and Barrow County School System. The superintendent recommended renewing the district's partnership with Social Empowerment Center for the 2022-23 school year, subject to a total authorization of $33,000. Policy adoption IKBC, material harmful to minors complaint resolution process. The superintendent recommended placing policy IKBC, materials harmful to minors complaint resolution process, on the table for public review until the next scheduled meeting of the Board of Education. Retention incentive payment. The superintendent recommended a one-time retention incentive payment of $1,000 for staff and contracted custodians to be paid in January of 2023. Net cost will be determined. Applicable funds will have a budget adjustment for the amounts. And finally, Statham Elementary School playgrounds improvement. The superintendent recommended approval of Bliss Products located in Lithia Springs, Georgia, to make additions of developmentally appropriate equipment to each of the Statham Elementary School playgrounds. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion, yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason there wasn't a number assigned to this? and a dollar amount.
Number 7.
Yeah. on the playground.
It's not a recommendation and the financial impact of the guaranteed maximum price is $120,000.
120.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Davis?
That's it.
Okay. We had a motion, and a second, Ms. Kelly. All in favor? Okay, I don't believe we have any other new business tonight. We need a motion to approve to authorize our committees to meet. Second. All in favor? Okay. We're going to move into executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or dismissal, or periodic evaluation of the rating of a public officer or employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.